Hi all! Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Good morning, everybody. I just want to touch on one quick subject today. Do you guys ever wonder why these two are in such desperate need of money? I mean, they're worth millions on their own. They received millions from Charles. Why are they so desperate for money? I mean, we already know that they did not get their money from Spotify and Netflix. You have to produce things to get that money. So why are they so desperate? Where is their money going besides their mortgage and power and, all of that? Well, let's take a quick look at the salaries that they have to pay to people and what they're doing behind the scenes. Let's go. So to start with, they just hired this young lady to run Archewell audio because their podcast bombed so badly. Now, this lady is moving from, I believe it's New York. So she's not going to make that move unless it's a multi-figure salary. So they have to pay her that every year. Next up, they hired Ben Browning, and he heads up content for Archewell Productions because since Harry and Meghan signed their deal with Netflix, it looks like everything that they pitched to Netflix was a vanity project for Meghan. So they haven't been able to produce anything except for coming up with monetizing Harry's Invictus games. There's no way on God's green earth that this Academy Award and BAFTA Award and PGA Award winning producer is going to go work for those two unless they're paying him mega money. Okay, moving on. They hired Christine Schrimmer to be her head of communications. Now, this young lady was over the image sharing platform Pinterest. She was head of communications for Pinterest. Again, no way she's going to move over unless they're paying her big bucks. Next, they hired Toya Holness as their global press secretary. So basically, she's the one who's looking at all the online stuff and putting out the press releases and all of that stuff. They're probably paying her a pretty penny. Next up, they hired James Holt as the executive director of the Archewell Foundation. That's got to come with a decent salary. The next person that they hired was a senior advisor for Archewell by the name of Catherine St. Laurent. And she had previously worked for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Now, I will say that she didn't last very long. Her announcement of her hiring was a big deal. However, when she left, it was very low key. There was no official statement. And Catherine, announced it on her LinkedIn account. And it was her position that was filled by James Holt after she moved into a, quote, advisory capacity. Next on the payroll, you have Nick Collins, who used to be Meghan's talent agent. Now he's just an agent, and now he is the one who is negotiating film and TV offers like their deal with Netflix. Next up, you have business manager Andrew Meyer. He's the one who files all their trademarks and who's, helping her with her investment portfolio. Next up, you have her attorney who's on retainer. His name is Rick Genow, and he is apparently helping them file all their lawsuits. So he's assisting her with all of her legal affairs. Lastly, you have Genevieve Roth, who is a strategist at Archewell Foundation. So basically, she's there to help with the storytelling around gender and race inequality. But they probably should have vetted her a little better because a 2020 interview she gave came out after she was hired where she said that all white people, every white person everywhere has internalized racism and unconscious bias. And just to show you what a nut job she is, in my opinion, she said, and I'm quoting, because she's married to an African-American man, she said, quote, race is an issue in our marriage because as a white woman of privilege, I have racist tendencies written in at a cellular level. Let's not forget that they're also paying Sunshine Sachs for their PR and to open doors for them on a regular basis. And of course, we have the annual bill for around-the-clock protection, which is approximately $2 to $3 million a year. And let's not forget that they bought this huge, almost 8-acre estate. The whole thing has to be monitored. Then, of course, we have the housekeepers, we have the lawn maintenance staff, there's a nanny, there's a cook, there's a pool cleaning service, there's a personal assistant who runs their errands like picking up dry cleaning, taking the car to be washed, poop scooping after the dog, stuff like that. Because obviously you can't expect Megan to clean her own house or actually cook for her family. Ladies and gentlemen, let's not forget where the majority of their money is going. These two are two of the most litigious, sue-happy people I've ever seen. It's ridiculous. And that's where a large chunk of their money is going, in retainers. These attorneys are charging $500 an hour for their services. Now, let's look at what could have been happening with all of that money had they actually gone for the private life that they wanted and that they kept telling everybody that they were going for. First of all, they wouldn't need any of that staff for Archewell if they had just gone off to have their private life. That's probably $2 to $3 million a year in salaries they have to pay to other people. Strike that off the list. Then, instead of buying a $16 million mansion and putting $5 million down, they could have bought a mansion like this, which would have left them with a $1.9 million mortgage. Believe me, it still sounds like a lot, but it's a lot better than an $11 million mortgage payment. It's much smaller. Landscaping costs would be much less because you don't have 7 acres to keep lush and green, which also would have helped with their water bill. Also, there's no pool, but it does have beautiful views of the ocean. Anyway, my point is, had they not gone for the lavish lifestyle, first of all, I don't believe that Harry wanted that big house in Montecito. I believe that was all Megan. She had to have the top of the line, best of the best. But anyway, had they actually gone to get that private life that they wanted and they bought the smaller house and they didn't employ all of those people, they would have had plenty of money to live for the rest of their lives. They would have brought up their children in anonymity, which is, I believe, what they kept saying they wanted, and which, of course, we all know now is a complete and utter lie. I'd also like to point out the fact that apparently their foundation isn't raking in the money like they'd hoped it would be, and they were going to keep 95% of the profits for themselves. I mean, with the pandemic, people are going hungry and homeless. They're not donating to their foundation, knowing now how the money is going to be used. So now I'm hoping that everybody has a better understanding as to why these two are constantly going about money, 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 money. And I'm dying to hear your comments on this, so don't forget to leave your comments below. Don't forget you can follow me on Twitter. Don't forget you can email me. Don't forget about that coffee fund. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of my uploads when I have them. And as always, you guys, have a great day.